and staff members. Today's date is May the 25th at approximately 9:40 a.m. I'm Walt Valentine, Commission Chair. I'll now call to order the meeting of the Tennessee Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission. Executive Director Cody Vest, please call the roll.
Stuart Bain.
Stuart Bain here.
David Brown.
Here.
Larry Flair.
Larry Flair, present.
Robin Brewer.
Here.
Rick Jones. Jerry Richards.
Here.
Alan Russo.
Here.
Doug Shanks. Walt Valentine.
Here.
All right, let the record show that Doug Shanks is not present and Rick Jones. You do have a quorum.
Okay. The next item for approval is the agenda. I'd like to ask each commission member if they have received and had time to review a copy of the agenda, and if so, is there a motion to adopt this agenda?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Brown, make a motion that we adopt the agenda.
Larry Flair here, seconds it.
Any discussion? Okay. Director Vest, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
I concur.
David Brown.
Yes.
Larry Flair.
Larry Flair. Yes.
Robin Brewer.
Yes.
Jerry Richards.
Yes.
Alan Russo.
Yes.
Walt Valentine.
Yes. Motion carries.
Before you go any further, Mr. Chairman, our attorney needs to read some information into the record.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to read the statement of necessity into the record. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission, which is taking place in Conference Room 1A of Davy Crockett Tower in Nashville, Tennessee. Notice of this meeting was posted to the Commission website on May 18, 2018. As there is not a physical quorum present, a statement of necessity will be read into the record and filed with the Tennessee Secretary of State as required by statute. Pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 8-44-108B2, which states if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body, then in order for a quorum of members to participate by electronic or other means of communication, the governing body must make a determination that a necessity exists. That determination must include a recitation of the facts and circumstances on which it was based. Further, Tennessee Code Annotated 8-44-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body, the physical presence by a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the regularly scheduled meeting of the Tennessee Private Investigation and Polygraph Commission. The purpose of this meeting, with members attending by teleconference, is to discuss the agenda as posted and voted on to the Commission website. Thank you.
Our next item are the minutes. The approval of the minutes for the last Education Committee and Commission meeting. Has each Commission member received and had time to review the copy of these minutes? And if so, is there a motion to adopt these minutes?
Larry Flair here.
Motion to adopt.
Larry Flair seconds it.
So that was Alan Russo that made the motion.
Larry Flair seconded. Any discussion? Director Vest, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain.
Yes.
David Brown. Mr. Brown. Larry Flair.
Larry Flair votes yes.
Robin Brewer,
Executive Director Bruce Brown, I'm sorry. Yes.
Robin Brewer,
Yes.
Jerry Richards,
Yes.
Alan Russo,
Yes.
Walt Valentine.
Yes. Motion carries. The next on our agenda is the legal report. Do we have a legal report for this time?
We do not have a legal report for this meeting.
Okay. Next on the agenda are appearances. Do we have anyone wanting to appear before the commission?
No, sir, I don't have anyone scheduled.
Okay. Right along. Administrative matters. Executive Director Cody Vest.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. We've sent out the reports for March and April, and I'll go directly to the PIs because they're both the same. It still shows there's one commission member vacancy, and that's Mr. Russo. Other than that, I did have a monthly meeting with the Assistant General Counsel, Ashley Thomas, which we have every month. So that's all I had on that. Then we have the budget review. We sent this out to you. It looks like in the month of March of this year, we had a total of $500 to the good. So we're getting there. Applications, I don't have any applications to review. We don't have any correspondence. So my section is complete unless there's any questions.
Stuart Bain, questions.
Yes, sir?
Yes.
Stuart here. Stuart had two questions, comments. Curiosity with the April regulatory board report, 2 complaints opened, 1 closed. I was, without asking or requesting detail, I noted that 1 complaint apparently is not closed, so we may hear more about that downstream, eh?
Yes, sir. There is one that we are still investigating that I'm aware of.
Thank you, Stuart. Again, second question concerning the budget review. I noted in the meeting minutes, which were great, by the way, on page 16, you, Cody Vest, mentioned that you would be watching the trends associated with numbers, and I wonder if some time going forward you can let the commission know on what you discovered.
I can do that. With the budget, we usually have an up year and a down year, or else it takes what they refer to as an ebb. And I believe that's what we're in, is the ebb. We're not alarmed by this. Like I have said before, even if we do end up in a negative balance, there's no chance of being sunset because it's based on 2 years. But yes, as I would see any type of trend, I will bring it to the board. I do not see a rush of new applications at all. What we are seeing are people renewing, but I don't see that many coming into the profession. I can tell you that much right now. But yes, as we see any of that, I will bring that to your attention.
Stuart says thank you.
Rick Jones here, finally.
All right, Mr. Jones, you're here. All right, let the record show that Rick Jones has called in and joined the commission meeting.
Okay. Anything further under administrative matters?
No, sir, that's all I have.
Next will be the education report. Executive Director Cody Vest.
Yes, the committee did meet, and the committee voted to approve the National Association for Public Defense. It denied the Advanced Investigative Services course, and it approved the Law Enforcement Innovation Center Stop Domestic Violence, And it also approved all the 4 courses for the PI education. That's all I have on that.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
Commissioner Brown, a motion to approve the education report.
Commissioner
Bain,
Jones.
second.
Education Committee.
Who seconded it?
Stuart Bain.
Stuart Bain. Any discussion? Director Vest, would you call the roll?
Stuart Bain,
Yes.
David Brown,
Yes.
Larry Flair,
Flair votes yes.
Robin Brewer,
Yes.
Rick Jones,
Yes.
Jerry Richards,
Yes.
Alan Russo,
Yes.
Walt Valentine.
Yes. Motion carries. Do we have any unfinished business?
Yes, I had one thing. I was asked about sending a letter out to private investigators to tell them that they need to have their courses approved in advance. Well, I am still working with that letter with a staff attorney. I'm asking you, though, or making a statement, then I'll ask the question. All correspondence for private investigators go to the private investigation company. I'm asking your permission to send this letter also out to each individual private investigator. That way they'll get one at their company and they'll get one at their home address, so there won't be any misunderstanding. And I also need for you to explain to me, if someone takes a course that's not approved in advance, what I'm supposed to do at that point. Any thoughts on that, commission members?
Commissioner Flair, I've got a thought on it, Miss Cody.
All right, sir.
I'd like to concur that that's a great idea to both go to the company and the PI. I think it will be the proper legal thing to do. Of course, legal would have to advise you on that, but that way you cover all bases. I don't think that we should. I think we ought to, if someone does this prior to the mailing, then I think we ought to handle as we have in the past. But by the next meeting of this commission, I think it ought to make a rule go into effect. I don't know I don't know. You wouldn't have to go back to the Hill to get that approved and put into the law, would you?
It's put into the law, yes, sir, but not for a rule.
Okay. So, in essence, the board could make that rule and then direct you. And then if we're advised by legal that there's something that's improper about it, then we could take it up at that time, could we not?
Yes, sir. I believe that would be fine. Now, if I can hear from the other members as well, is that something that we want to consider putting? Of course, I believe it had to be put into a rule.
Commissioner, this is Commissioner Brown. We talked about this before. We ended up saying it was more of an encouragement than a deterrent or a punishment. That we want them to try and do this, but be aware there's going to be some that's not.
Okay. Yes, sir. I think.
My concern is the staff you all get inundated with these things at the last minute when their license is about to expire and they want you to rush through and jump through hoops. That I don't think is fair, but this letter I think they certainly know there's classes available to them, take it in advance and ask for it in advance. I don't think we can sit here and say that, no, I'm not going to approve it because you didn't comply with the letter. I don't know. I think that would be too harsh.
Okay, I think what you're saying is you want me to send the letter out encouraging all private investigators to please have their continuing education courses approved before they take the actual course. But if they don't, just like we have in the past, I would bring it to the board just like I do now. I mean, to the commission like I do now, and then you can vote on that. I can do that, and if we see this a serious problem, I think we could look at it again at a later time.
Revisit it again. Yeah, I agree with you there on that.
Do I have comments from the other board members, commission members?
Stuart Bain, no comments other than concurring with what I'm hearing.
Alan Russo, I'm concurring with the process that's suggested.
Director Vest, could you keep track of how many request approval after they've taken the course, and when they just need it for their license to renew it? Or is that
About the, Mr. Chair, about the only way I can do that is by what is being probably could, in the sense of it'd have to be presented to the commission for approval if it's after their renewal period. So I believe there's a way that I could do that, yes.
okay? Good. That would be helpful for us to see whether we needed to take a stronger measure or just encourage them to take the courses that are approved.
All right, we have a new member there,
Robin Brewer.
Robin Brewer. I'm sorry, completely just went past me. Ms. Brewer, what is your opinion? I have not heard from you.
I concur.
Well, I just want to make sure I get Mr. Shanks in here. Mr. Richards, I didn't hear from you either.
I agree as well.
All right. Mr. Flair?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I covered all our commission members. Far as the unfinished business, that's all I had, Mr. Chairman.
Stuart Bain would like the floor for just a minute relative to our discussion in March on the misunderstandings or misperceptions on the apprenticeship program we have built in. The page 18 of the minutes suggests that Cody could find out what other states are doing with their apprenticeship, if any. I think that is a great idea. And I wonder in the meetings you all did in the field, or meeting you did in the field, if what kind of feedback you got relative to anything concerning apprenticeship. I'm done.
All right. Director Vest here. Yes, we're still working on the apprenticeship. I have already contacted 3 states, and I'm trying to cover all the different states. For instance, Alabama, they are almost identical to our apprenticeship because we helped work with Alabama to get theirs, so I knew what theirs were. Far as the seminars, we will be having another seminar in June in Chattanooga. The one that I had in Memphis, I didn't have, but maybe 3 PIs show up. So there was no conversation about apprenticeships. I'm hoping I do have more. The next one, like I say, is in Chattanooga, so all PIs are being invited along with the alarm people and all our other staff that we regulate.
Stuart Bain says thank you.
Do we have any, excuse me, do we have any new business?
Yes, we do. Almost forgot. If you would look at your schedules, our board meeting is scheduled for July the 20th. We would like to move that to July the 27th.
Stuart Bain has no issue.
Any questions about that?
Commissioner Jones here. I hate to mention this, but I'm scheduled to be out of town that week for the National Hockey League.
What about our other commission members? I need to get a tally on that. Make sure I have a quorum.
Robin Brewer, I can be there.
Okay.
Jerry
Alan
Richards.
Russo, go ahead,
Okay.
Jerry. Alan Russo, can you give me the date we want to change it again to, please?
To the July the 27th.
That would be fine with me.
Jerry, I think I heard you speak.
Yes, I don't have any conflict. Richards.
But if that's okay with the commission, we would say that we would be moving it from July the 20th to July the 27th. One of our staff members is getting married. Along with some other things.
Congratulations, staff member.
That's Shauna. Shauna Palazzi is getting married in Las Vegas on that particular week, and
So we're all going.
so she's going to pay for everybody to go. We're joking, obviously, but that I really do appreciate the commission understanding. We do have other things that are going on in the office, and we certainly appreciate you allowing us to change that to the next week.
Any other new business?
I have
Hearing-
none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Continuing Education Participation Forum. Do we have anyone appearing for that?
We had no one to sign up.
Hearing none. The next item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Robin
Larry
Brewer.
Flair makes that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Jerry Richards seconds it.
Jerry Rich. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, Larry Flair.
All roll.
Call the roll, Director Vest.
Stuart Bain,
Aye.
David Brown,
Aye.
Larry Flair,
Aye.
Robin Brewer,
Aye.
Rick Jones,
Aye.
Jerry Richards,
Aye.
Alan Russo,
Aye.
Walt Valentine.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr.
Motion
Chairman.
carries. We are adjourned.
Thank you.
Jerry Richards, could you call Larry Flair on a completely different matter, nothing concerning the board?
Sure, I'll be glad.